Hey everybody, it's Rhi on Instagram, SheSmokes Media here, and I'm on Dro TV. It's really awesome. Please don't miss my episode. It's a really good one.
Welcome to My First Time, the show about your first time getting high on marijuana. I'm your host, Mike Freeman with Dro TV. Today, I'd like to welcome our guest, Rhi. How are you?
I'm good. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well. You can find more of Rhi and SheSmokes Media on Instagram at Rhi. That's RHI_OH_RHI. And we have all the links down below for Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, all that good stuff. So Rhi, thanks for coming on Dro TV today. Let everybody know where you're located and what you do in the cannabis community.
So I'm located in California, Southern California, born and raised in San Diego, but I do a lot of networking between like LA, San Diego, Vegas. I even had a client in New York.
Awesome.
Basically what I do is I provide media management services as well as content creation services for startups, for regular companies in the cannabis industry, wellness and beauty, as well as the automotive industry. So I do
Cool.
kind of wear a few different hats, but I also do web design or revamping, which comes with the media services. And let's say they need someone to manage their stuff, make sure their content is up to date, make sure they're staying engaged with their audience. All of that I would basically handle for like packages or like per project. Let's say they really only need someone to kick them off and get them started. I would help that as well.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, like a true entrepreneur, many hats, and it's great that you're out there doing that. Certainly needed in this industry.
Oh yeah.
So I do want to get more into SheSmokes Media and your cannabis influencing online, but the show is my first time. So first, Rhi, we want to hear about the story of the first time you got high.
Okay, it's nothing too drastic. It was actually pretty innocent. I was roughly, let's see, like 19, fresh out of high school, right? So my whole life it had been very like negative. I was taken away a few times, and my parents were very innocent with it, but that's a whole nother story. So I kept getting taken away a few times. So I always thought, cannabis is so evil, grr. And then when I was 19, everyone was smoking it, and I was so curious, like, why are your benefits so great? And my experiences have been so crap. And so I was outside of my friend's house one night, and they were just all smoking and dancing and having fun, and it was just a group of us. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to see what it's all about. So I decided to take this little glass pipe and I hit it for the first time, and I got really stoned. And I actually ended up dancing with them, and we migrated to the middle of the road. It was a neighborhood, so it was private neighborhood, but we moved to the middle of the road, turned on a car radio, continued to smoke, and started dancing in the middle of the street with, I swear, like the 3 or 4 of us. It was really awesome. I'm not gonna lie, and I have not put cannabis down since, and I have been diving into the benefits, and then I just really have that entrepreneurial mindset. So then I dove into the business part of it, and I haven't looked back since.
Awesome. You still in touch with any of those friends? You still dancing in the street at all? Or?
Yeah, so I've always been a dancer. Choreography was actually my first major in college. Now it's marketing management. So I've always loved dancing. So when I dance and use cannabis, it's like my choreography ability. I can actually see the pieces, I can remember the movements, and I can actually teach it a little better. It calms my mind, calms my thoughts. So I was just like surrounded by all of these benefits. They were just like benefit. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. I can see why people love this plant.
Awesome.
So yeah, I still keep in contact with pretty much all of them. We've been friends for the better half of almost 10 years. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So SheSmokes Media, when did you start this company and get into some of the services you provide?
So shortly after I picked up cannabis, I was really interested about it in general. So I started going on Instagram, and everywhere you look, you see all of these people just smoking on camera. And I thought, that looks really easy. And so I started posting fun content where I'm just smoking online. And then I started going to events. And back at that moment, they were still underground, black market, pop up, dispensaries, you know. So I would go to those and I would get products. And then I was like, not a lot of people in 2017, 2018 were doing reviews. So I started everything I was purchasing, I would leave a review on how it affected me, how it tasted, if I liked it, who I'd recommend it to, and whether or not I'd even buy it again. And I was completely unfiltered and honest. And I think that kind of set me apart from everybody else, besides like, oh my God, this is awesome. No, like this tastes like shit. I wouldn't buy it again. I don't recommend it, kind of thing.
Sure.
So I kind of started getting a little bit of a following at that. And then I decided, well, I see a lot of people who, from a marketing standpoint, don't understand how to fine point their niche and run with it. So I was like, okay. So I started doing some research about that. I started thinking of names, and SheSmokes just kept hitting me in my brain all the time. Just SheSmokes. So in 2018, I started seeing, or I started looking, excuse me, to see if anybody had that name, and nobody did. So I started using that hashtag and started that emphasis around SheSmokes. And so I did that for about 2 years with hashtags, kind of creating that presence. And then other people started using, SheSmokes variations in their usernames or hashtags. So I decided, well, I could be a cannabis influencer. So that's actually how I got really into the cannabis industry. I was a product influencer reviewer first. So I seldomly still do that, but it's not my emphasis in business anymore. So let's see, where did I leave off? Just a couple years ago, I noticed that because of all the prop changing and all the legalizations and everything, it's actually becoming more of a business market rather than just like a pleasure thing for the consumers. And while that does suck for the consumers, it opens so many doors for people like me or older, younger, whatever, who want to make their 9 to 5 basically in cannabis. So it opened so many doors, and I decided to put my foot through one of them and walk right in. So I decided SheSmokes Media, and I really like being in front of and behind the camera. I really like editing. I really like taking photos of products. I really like telling a model how to pose and how to hold the product so I can create a video or a photo shoot and give it to that client, have them be like, oh my God, I love this. I like all that. So I decided to take all of my passions and all of my interests that centered in cannabis and kind of make it into like a media management content creation agency. So that's exactly what I did. And that's a startup. And it's been about almost 2 years with that. So
Awesome.
around 5, 6 years, that's how I've grown into SheSmokes Media.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so what do you do as far as like lead generation today? Are you reaching out on Instagram and other platforms? Are you going to events?
Oh yeah.
Talk us through like some of your main networking and
I love to network. Ooh, I love to
okay.
network. So I will reach out. My engagement is very high. I am actually very into engagement. It shows, that it shows the clients that, when you're saying, oh, I can produce more leads for you online, it actually does come from a genuine connection that you have with the other user. So if you're liking some of their stuff and you're maybe resharing some of their stuff and you're replying to comments and you're making sure that you follow back someone else who's also active online, all of those components help your algorithm on Instagram specifically. Now with TikTok, that's just more you post a lot and you like other people's stuff. And then let's see, with Facebook, same idea as Instagram, content, but also make sure that you're engaging back with those people who are engaging with you, because it helps the algorithm push it towards people who are interested in those same things. So I decided to take a look of all that on the online perspective. Now in person, word of mouth is very powerful. It is extremely powerful, because if I'm just talking to you and I go, raw is such a good paper, I don't think I'd buy
Mm,
anything else. you're more likely to go by raw than anything else. So word of mouth is very powerful. So when I go to networking events, which I go to a lot of them, I will make sure that I have a normal conversation with that person, and then naturally gravitate in towards the business part of it. So I will introduce myself. Maybe I see them behind their booth and I ask them about their product first, get them talking a little bit. And then when I find a median with what they're saying, I will jump down that bridge and I will go with that. And then it makes a personal connection. It's easier to remember you. I have done this so many times. I will end up with business cards and opportunities. And so I'll go to events and film them with my company or help sponsor things. I will talk to everybody there. I will even do some free promotional work depending on who they are. Let's say someone else is a new beginner and they're not really open to letting their little business baby go to anyone else, because that happens with a lot of startups. This is your baby. You want to do every single part. You can't do it. So it takes a team, a village, right? So I'll bring that perspective to somebody like that, and they're like, I guess I could use that help. And so they sometimes want to see, they'll sometimes want to see an example of what you're capable of doing with their stuff, their products, their business, their audience, what have you. So I will craft something like that for them, whether it be content or maybe like a revamping of their website page, and I'll show them that example. And then more times than not, they'll actually hire me to do that for them. So I
Excellent.
like doing it.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for some insight. Are you also looking so you do some web design yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no shortage of graphic designers online, but
No, there's not.
you must be networking to find people that can help you in your business as well.
So not really, I guess, because I'm a package deal with clients, like they'll purchase monthly packages, so I already have all of what they need set out and ready to go, and so I'm very organized with that. Now I do have a videographer, and
Okay.
he also does a lot of the editing right now, because I just can't take on that task. So yes, I do outsource, but really only to people that I trust, because it's better not to do business with like family or friends. It creates a lot of animosity. So it's more of a business connection, and I guess that from that it developed a little bit of a friendship, but he's amazing. So I have him in charge of that. But let's see, there's another all brand ambassador. They were watching me for a while, and they actually took me on their team. So I'm actually partners with their company. So I do the web design for them. Basically all my services I do for them too. But right now, I just finished with a few clients, so I'm actually open to taking a few more clients right now. But when I do get busy, I do have a max for myself, because I am a startup and I do need to take it slow, but it helps build trust, loyalty, all of that. So you want to make sure that you're giving, as a startup, speaking to other people who are doing it all, you want to really focus on one person at a time, to a degree, maybe like 5 people at a time, whatever you can handle. So I can handle about roughly 10 clients at a time myself, but before I have to finish and then wait and then take on more clients. And that's just per project. Maybe someone needs a photo shoot. Maybe someone wants their event hosting recorded. Maybe they want it like interview style, or maybe they want it recap style, or maybe they want me and them to go around and interview people with a certain question, get the background, make a huge whatever movie out of it. I'll provide those services. They just have to be clear. So I can do all that. Probably when I start getting a little bit bigger, I will probably need some help, because it takes a team. But right now, I don't. So it's just me.
Okay. No, that's great. I've had businesses in the past where they're service oriented, and if your service sucks, I don't care how great your message is or your website is, or so yeah, it's important to know your limit as far as how many people I can work with before
Yeah.
my business is not performing to test. So
Yeah.
it's good that you realize that. Excellent.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite events to go to? Do you have something that you look forward to more than others? Are there women in cannabis or like that? I know the can of paint stuff is popular.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's if I'm being a little biased, being from San Diego, after the second prop went into effect, after I think like 64, everything in San Diego pretty much went hush. Everything you can find cannabis wise is pretty much going to be in Los Angeles, Vegas, San Fran, Colorado, a little bit in New York. Those are the
So
really, really
what
good areas.
what was this
So,
that deterred everyone away from San Diego? What happened?
I'm not really sure, but probably because of you know, the foot traffic, the regulations, the air regulations. It's just like the amount of smoke that can be in the air, the amount of uh, people that are allowed to be at your stop at one point. And San Diego has a lot of restrictions because it's mainly business and court things. Like if you have ever been to San Diego, everywhere you turn is either fast food or it's got something to do with the legal office. So because cannabis still isn't federally legal, I think that has a lot of implications as to why it's not in San Diego. But there are some things. There are some legal shops popping up now. So it is starting to change. Like Lakeside and Riverside, they actually just passed a ton of stuff. National City just passed a ton of stuff. So I'm actually trying to open my own cannabis consumption lounge down in Southern California. So I hope everybody stays tuned for that because it's going to be really cute. I'm actually going to have a
Awesome.
few people help me. I have a few investors in that as well. So hopefully within the next couple years, that should be a thing. But as far as like, um, sorry, I forgot where I was. What was the question you had asked me?
That's okay. Hey, everybody. I want to quickly mention food forest abundance. Food forest abundance is a great way to create your own self sustaining food forest and naturally occurring ecosystem that's commonly found in nature, but designed specifically for you. Through multiple layers of trees, shrubs, herbs, vines, rhizomes, mushrooms, and perennial vegetables, you can become your own supply chain without the typical maintenance required of a garden. From small spaces to large areas, both urban and suburban, Food Forest Abundance wants us to get back to our roots in nature by engaging with our food production in a meaningful way. For more information, click on the link in the description below and start your journey today. Okay, let's get back to today's episode. What are you smoking on? What you got there?
Oh, so this is Delta 8 brand. That's actually the brand name. And this
Okay.
is a disposable vape. This actually has Delta 8 in it. So this is different than what you would normally see on the shelves. Like, for example, this one is Blinkers. This one is THC, Delta 8, and then somewhere over on my shelf, I actually have HHC. So I smoke a variety of vapes. I really like the entourage effect, if you will, but,
Cool.
but
Awesome.
isolated together.
Great.
But
That's
yes,
awesome.
my favorite events.
Yeah.
So far, Kush Talk is just a really big one to network with because it's a free event venue or what have you to get into. It facilitates a lot of customers and new people. I mean, they really don't check if you have a ticket to get in. It's more, are you of age, and it's free to get in. But there's so many vendors there, like people you wouldn't even expect to be there, like Ross, Dizzy, Bear Labs. Huge names are there, but then there's also little ones there, like Alpaca LA, or like me. So I'll actually walk around as media, and I will do some filming things. They've put me on the stage a few times, so I really, really, really love Kush Stock. They're actually a sponsor of mine as well. And then there's a few events in LA, like not really a consistent annual. It's more of the brands themselves have studios, and they'll often throw like launch parties or new merch drop parties. And it's things like that that you want to really stay and connect with and go to, because it's not necessarily like the events like Burning Tree that you want to really go to. That's more for the consumers to enjoy themselves. But from a business aspect, you really want to go to the launch parties. You really want to watch the brands that you're interested in, that because I want to start a consumption lounge, I'm going to need products on my shelf. So I want to establish good connections with those people to make sure that I will have like products on my shelf. I will have people at my door. I will have all of that. So I go to launch parties, I'll go to those kind of things. Like SoCal Cannabar is one to look out for. They do a lot of hosting and they're really good. A lot of my influencer friends are actually bud tenders with them. So you'll see every time I go to an event like that, there's usually a couple gals that I love seeing that are behind there, and we'll catch up a little bit. So, and then you notice from a business aspect, when you're networking and you consistently go to all of these things, you see a lot of the same people at all of these events.
Mm.
High Rise, they threw a lot of mansion parties. Granted, they don't have their mansion anymore, but they did throw a lot of parties with a lot of really big name people. And I've been to a few of the parties, and they were just that, they were parties. But to network, you really have to read the audience. So it's whether you go to this event or you go to a mansion party or you go to a Vegas event or whatever, you just read the room and then you network accordingly. So a lot of the people will have trouble networking their content, their brand, their products, their whatever it is, their services. So that's also something I would provide, is I will go to these things for you and network your company for you to get you more clientele, to get you more recognition, etc. So I really like LA. LA is definitely where it's at when you want to network your cannabis, for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great to know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the spot real quick and just ask you. So we're only several months old, Dro TV. Our goal is we have a business cannabis related show we're working on, interviewing business owners and entrepreneurs here in Central Florida. So our 1 year, 3 year plan is to continue doing what we're doing, networking, growing, meeting people like yourself. But we're also, new to the community, and we're trying to build ourselves here in Central Florida. We're going to events. We're going to be vending at events, hoping to, interview many different business owners while we're there as well, get some
Yeah.
content out of that. What would you say to somebody like myself who's starting out? And I mean, there's two of us here. We put in several hours every day, so we can, we can put content out at a decent clip. We've just released our 100th episode today, and we started in February. So what would you kind of, if I can ask you and be
Yeah.
so blunt,
Yeah.
what kind of advice or direction would you suggest, or maybe just something for us to look into or consider?
Oh, that's a good one. So I would, if you're not sure where to go location wise, like let's say you're only networking at a few venues, I would reach out to your, I guess your local dispensaries and
Okay.
kind of see like, whenever they do pop-ups, keep tabs. Your favorite brands that are popular in your city, and keep tabs on them and see where they're doing those pop-up events and go to those. And if there's an opportunity to sponsor a sponsor event, take it. And then I would also grab yourself another videographer and have two going around, capture the venue, capture the interviews, and then throw it together. And then also, you could do two separate videos, and one is beneficial to the venue, so they would be like, wow, this person was present, this person was aware, networking, I would love to share this. It gets your name out there, and it's called borrowing an audience. That's very popular, to do. It's a business strategy as well. So borrowing audiences is effective, so you want to make sure that people are tagging you in things. Every time you do an interview, make sure they're following you, make sure that they share that video, announce it maybe on a few stories. And if you use that formula with every single person that you're doing, it's just more exposure. And then if you have, like, I notice your backdrop, it's irrefutably noticeable that you are Dro TV, right? So I probably won't forget that, right? So that is perfect. Things like that. Like every time you go to a venue, make sure it's your name all over your venue. Make sure you have someone there at the venue who's very knowledgeable about your business. Make sure you have someone going around. Make sure you guys all have like matching uniforms, just so you guys are in sync, and add a little bit of professional, ness to that as well. But also because people look at shirts first. If they see a videographer, they're going to look at the videographer. But if they see your name, they're going to be like, Dro TV, and probably type it in, because word of mouth is huge. And Florida is, I mean, the amount of people out there is huge. So you definitely have a market, and they like to party out there. So you could figure out what your targeted audience feeds off of basically, and then provide them that in your own niche. I would have to do a little bit of research on your target audience in Florida, to be able to give you more detail on what you should do on that aspect. But that's pretty much where I would start, because that's pretty much what I'm doing out here. Is every time I go to an event, I actually have my videographer and we have shirts. So now when people are walking around and they see him, they know it's my company. So it's just, repetition, consistency, word of mouth.
Excellent.
I think
Awesome.
I think you're doing a good job. You've already
Awesome.
reached California, so
Yeah. Great. No, I love that. That's all great advice. So thank you.
yeah,
Um, somebody like yourself, if I can always have an opportunity to pick your brain, then certainly it's more beneficial for us.
yeah,
And some great stuff there. Yeah, it's I've been in cannabis for like 20 years, and I just moved to Florida a few years ago, and so I don't know a lot of people down here, which is why I'm trying to network and kind of build some relationships around here. But at the
yeah,
same time, it's like pretty much decriminalized, so they don't give you too much of a hard time. But there's still it's just medicinal. There's no rec, so there's is still the stigma around, which we're breaking every day. I usually take
I
my
have
dog
an
for a
idea.
walk every night and smoke a joint. So
Do you know of any because out here, inspired by cannabis, whom I I love him. He is such a nice person. He really does for this community amazing from LA to San Diego, and I love being a part of that when they're in San Diego as well. I was thinking, Florida, they've got some dirty beaches.
mhm.
I would pair with a few influencers local to Florida and invite them to maybe a beach cleanup. And I would maybe start doing that and have Dro TV do some interviews on people who are coming out there to do a cannabis beach cleanup. That's another way that you could get your name out there. I know we're live and I'm telling you that, but I just came to me and I was like, oh, I should say it.
Oh, interesting. That's uh, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I think I like that. And there's something we could do with that. So thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Um, well, Rhi, it was excellent talking with you. I appreciate it very much for coming on Dro TV. Let everybody know the best place that they can find you.
So I have a website. It's ohrhi.com, ohri.com. That's where you can find out how to read, read my prices, see a little bit of my portfolio. My main reach right now from influencers, the way everybody kind of knows me, is my Instagram and mostly my Snapchat. So between those three platforms, people reach out mostly on those. Instagram is the easiest. I'm always on it. So people feel a little bit more personal to reach out rather than the website. I understand. So I have all of the platforms available, but Instagram, my website, and Snapchat tend to be the most used.
Excellent.
Yes.
Great. Well, definitely all the links will be in the description below. So make sure you go down there and follow Rhi. She's crushing it. So you want to follow her and watch everything she's doing. And when she has her, what did you call it? A VIP lounge? Smokers lounge?
Cannabis Consumption Lounge. I'm going to
Cannabis
dedicate
consumption
it
lounge.
after my
Okay.
father. He passed away not too long ago. So
Oh,
he was
sorry to hear that.
the entrepreneur of all entrepreneurs. So I
Awesome.
strive to be like him, and I'm going to name it after him. And I'm going to get this thing off the ground, and it's going to be beautiful. And then when I do, hopefully you'll come out and maybe you could do an interview on the location.
Awesome. Definitely keep us posted on that. We love sharing everybody that gives us time. We love being able to share everything that you guys have going on. So we appreciate it very much. If you're watching this on YouTube, go down there and hit the like button for Rhi and leave a comment. Let her know what you think of some of the services she provides, some excellent advice and strategies. If you have a business, you need to be reaching out to Rhi. And if you are watching this on YouTube, you need to make sure you subscribe to Dro TV, because otherwise you would miss amazing content and guests like this one here. So Rhi, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you again for coming on Dro TV. And as always, smoke them if you got them. What's up, Dro TV family? You can now stream the audio version of all these episodes on your favorite podcast player. And if you like more episodes like this, check out this playlist we put together over here for you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. You don't want to miss more great content from Dro TV. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, smoke 'em if you got 'em.